Hi guys, today we are going to start our session on Splunk administration. This course will mostly be focused on the entire administration of Splunk and some associated functionalities, some basic knowledge management types, and as well some basic insight on Splunk. So let's get started. So what is Splunk? So there's a lot of hubbub in the market recently on the Splunk. So Splunk is turning out to be one of the most efficient tool. It's being used by a lot of companies that falls in Fortune 500. So people have started giving some real good look at Splunk. So what is it basically? Why is it becoming so famous? What's the speciality of it? So let's ask a very basic question. What do you do when you need information about the state of a machine or a software? So you look at its log files. They tell you the state it is in and what is going on. So what are these log files? Basically, log files are nothing but machine data. So what Splunk does is make machine data available to the IT infrastructure, and it does it in a totally different way. So machine data is always relevant for better way of running IT. It can be helpful in doing audits, making system more secure, understand and respond to the behavior of customers, maybe give a better service, and all this happens in a real-time mode. So that is something wonderful, right? So doing all these things at the same time, one application providing the entire platform, and that too in a real time. So that's a lot we are going for. And leveraging this data, this machine data, has always been complicated. So we have this kind of handling of machine data previously with SQL, DBL, ETL, or other schema based architectures, but Splunk does this very seamlessly in a different way that we are going to find out soon. So Splunk is basically, it's a non-schema based, it follows a non-schema based architecture where it had a collection of flat files from where it takes the rich data, the meaningful data that is part of the machine data, and present it to you in a completely value add format, either in form of dashboards or alerts. So Splunk Enterprise is the platform for collecting, storing, correlating, and analyzing machine data. So be it physical or virtual or cloud environments. So it does it in all of them. So Splunk can be basically defined as a Google for log files. As you, whenever you need an information, you basically what you do, you go to Google and you just type it in, and it gives you the data. It gives you the result, that the desired result. So according to your connection, 4G or 3G, it gives you the faster you want it. Similarly, Splunk is the Google for machine data. So whenever you need a relevant details that is hiding in your machine data, you go ahead, type it in Splunk search bar. That will be part of the Splunk GUI, the Splunk web, and it will present it to you with all the relevant details. And be as the 3G and 4G matters in case of your internet connection to connect to Google, the hardware requirements would fit in the same category for your Splunk architecture. The better your hardware, better your specs are, the faster you will get the data, the more efficient your system will be in handling it. So that is what Splunk is about. So it's SPL language provide valuable insights. So basically the SPL is the Splunk programming language. So it's basically what it does is it's a collection of around 300 commands that will be very handy writing down these languages. It can write very simple searches, from a very range of simple searches to a very complicated pivots as well, using these SPL language. So this SPL language, it makes finding the data and modifying it, articulating it, and correlating your results very easy. So next, it provides business insights and operational intelligence. So what is basically business insight and operational intelligence? That is like business operation that IT is running on. So some insight or some intelligence into these operations and making it more efficient and streamlining the process is always something that this IT industry looks for. So what it does is it gives you a better insight in the data in to run your IT operations. So let's open the web console. log in with admin credential, and here I am logged in. So let's go to the access control or the users and authentication. Yes. So what is user and authentication is basically how an individual access Splunk and what are the roles he has been exposed to handle Splunk. So as you can see, I am opening Splunk with the admin access. So there are several other layer of roles that you can take leverage of. And there are other different authentication methods as well. So I'll just give you an overview of the authentication methods. So the primary or the default one is the Splunk native authentication. That is the internal authentication Splunk, which is always on, which you can uh, at any point of time you can roll back to that one because it will by default be always on. So apart from that, if you want any other external authentication, you have these two, the most possibly used external authentication methods, LDAP and SAML. So there is a procedure to configure the LDAP or SML connection with the settings that will be provided to you. So there are various sources of this settings. Similarly, for SAML access as well, you will have to fill up the form which will enable the SML authentication. So you can use this one or any of the other two. So this is how you access Splunk. So we are using the native control, native authentication, that is a Splunk built-in one. Okay. Now the users. So what are the users is basically there are multiple tiers of user that can access Splunk. So now as you see, we just have one admin access that has been created by me for my reference. So similarly, an admin can give access to multiple other users. So how the access is being given is you add a username of according in line with the requester ID or requester name. You give the full name, the email ID is a generic thing, time zone, obviously which time zone you want the user to be in, because whatever searches the user would be doing will fall into that time zone. Obviously the user can go ahead and change the time zones as and when required, but yeah, this is the default one that you will set up. Also the default app. So once the user logs in, which app would he see? As we log in, we see the search and reporting app that is there by default. Okay, no, yeah, we see the search homepage because nothing has been set up. So these are the three options that we have as of now: the Splunk management console or the DMC, the search, and the launches. So any of these app, if you want to readily get access to once logged in, so this would be set up here. So in a lot of organization there will be multiple added application that are used. Suppose an app for the dashboard, and maybe the organization wants that once they log into the Splunk they want to see the dashboard. So those things can be done from here. Now another part is assigning roles. So these are the prime roles that are available in Splunk. The admin role, the highest privilege role, which can do almost anything. So this is the highest amount of access that can be given to an user. Can delete. Okay, this is a special rule that had been carved out of admin, that is can delete. So even an admin cannot delete uh, an index, because index is a very sensitive thing. Once you delete an index, there is no going back, so all your data is lost. So the delete command used in Splunk is a very prime command, and it cannot be given to even an admin unless requested or he's responsible enough. So from a business point of view, so can delete is an added role that is given to the admins who needs to delete indexes. So this is the role. Power users have is like a generic user but with some extra activity access. They can create and share the knowledge objects, as in the alerts, the dashboards, the reports, and also their reports would be given a preference. They can view and edit reports which have been shared with them. So these are the some of the main uses of the power user, whereas a normal Splunk user won't have such access. They might be able to create the knowledge objects locally, but it won't be possible for them to share them. And also the number of concurrent searches for all these roles are different. So how many users doing parallelly how many searches would also depend on what all access each of them gets. Also the Splunk system role is a generic role for the Splunk system users. Now you can always give multiple role to the same person. Suppose you want to give user maybe a can delete and a power role to a selected user. So you can choose these two, and you can go ahead. So these two has been added as a selected role. So this way roles can be added. Also you can create a new role. So completely, suppose you have created this with these two available roles, you are creating a completely new genre of roles, and maybe you need to give it to multiple people, maybe not one, maybe five. So you create a new role along with the user. A new role would be created, which you next time when you log in you might see up here in the available role section. So on checking this box you will get to do that. Next is set password, which is some generic password that you will be configuring and you will be sharing it with the user. So this is how basically you create an user for Splunk native authentication or Splunk built-in authentication, which the user would use, and accordingly he can react. Also roles, as you have seen in the user section, also we can add roles, and there's a separate section altogether where you can go ahead and add new roles. So you have a role in mind, you give it a name. Suppose it's for the security user, so you give it a security personnel. Then give the default app again, which app you want the user to be in when he logs into the system. Next is restrict search items. So where all he can search and cannot search. So those terms can be restricted. You can use a boolean terms such as and, or, and you can always mention that these are the places, this is the host, or this is the source type that he should not be accessing. So here you basically restrict an user to some specific portion of the Splunk. So you can customize. You are basically customizing the access of the user. Restrict search time range, which is set to -1. So set a maximum time window for searches for this role. So it basically means that suppose, for example, set this to 60 to restrict the role searches to 1 minute with the most recent time specified in the search. You can also set this to 0 to explicitly make the window infinite, or -1 to unset the window for this role. Can be overridden by imported roles. So basically here what you are doing is you can declare the maximum window for searches for this role. So how big this user can search, suppose for 60 minutes, maybe for 1 hour, 2 hour, the window of searches and that has been given access to this user. So you can set it to 0 for unlimited access, whereas given -1 means that the window for this role, to unset the window for this role. So this user might not be having any window assigned to him. So this is a very light overview of what all can be done and what all are being done with the Splunk user roles. So this session was mostly about the access controls. Thank you.
I'm sure you enjoyed learning from this video. Please like the video, and if you have any doubts regarding this video, please comment us in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos. Do look out for other related videos in our playlist. For more information, visit our website now. Keep learning with IntelliPat.